What's up, everybody? Hadn't recorded in a while. Got some strikes when I was showcasing those stupid Norvin videos. So Norvin's Revenge bring my channel down. It's all good though, 'cause I don't know. I had some old strikes. I was waiting for them to expire, just so the channel wasn't at risk or whatever. But yeah, those videos were interesting, so it was worth it. I mean, a lot's happened. Probably I've forgotten, but there's just been a bunch of rounds of Twitter purges. They got the new CEO. They got this activist investor who, well, Keith Woods got fucking suspended like yesterday, or the day before. So that was kind of a big thing. He put out this video just before Vulture Capitalist behind the new Twitter. That's about Paul Singer, who's an activist investor. You know, in these guys' minds, a guy like this is evil incarnate. I tend to think about them differently. Like, activist investors invest in what they see as underperforming companies, buy their way in, throw their weight around, try to get things changed to increase the valuation of the company. And that's all they really care about, is the bottom line, right? So, of course, in this guy's mind, Keith Woods thinks Paul Singer has bought Twitter to fucking eliminate his ass. That's what he thinks, I guess. And I actually looked up the ownership stats, and there's a bunch of funds, a bunch of investors that have bigger sized holdings than Elliott, which is what Peter Singer, is his name Peter Singer? Whatever the fuck. Runs. He owns 1.25% of Twitter, which is a really small amount. I mean, I know this guy's he's a big shot who throws his weight around, so his influence is probably higher than his share percentage. But, you know, other investors piggyback on top of him. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this guy's going to shape up the company, and I'm just going to follow his lead, so I'm going to buy some shares, and he's going to do all the work, you know what I mean? So, while you could be persuaded to maybe think like, oh yeah, Peter Singer's buying this company because he doesn't like Keith Woods calling him out, so he bought it. He spent, $500, $1 billion, whatever. Let me see. Current 10 million shares. I don't know what it's, I don't know the fucking price of Twitter, but whatever. I'm going to guess like 500 to $1 billion, because I think I saw it was like 400 something million, but maybe I'm wrong. So, I mean, a lot of money, but for one of these funds, it's not a lot of money. It's the cost of doing business. But these guys think they're in the eye of a conspiracy where an activist Jewish investor is buying Twitter to eliminate their influence. It's all part of the plan, right? I mean, I think the plan is acquire Twitter, clean it up. You're trying to increase its valuation, so I think they're trying to double. They're trying to double revenues in the next year, which sounds like a tall task. I don't know anything about it, but you can't eliminate too many people, right? Because that'd be like turning away people from McDonald's. You're not going to double revenue that way. But I guess they're getting rid of who they see as bad actors. They want to clean up the platform. They want to increase its respectability. Maybe that has something to do with increasing revenues through advertising, because you get rid of the trash, you make it higher end. I mean, I don't know how you get rid of the trash on Twitter. That's basically like what Twitter is, a glorified garbage heap. But you can get rid of the worst trash, and maybe that will help things. I don't know. You can't get rid of too many people, because this is why I'm not really too worried about censorship, because private party censorship, not, like government censorship, you get rid of enough accounts. If they're too harsh with the censorship, it creates a critical mass for competitors. Like, Odyssey is a strong competitor to YouTube now. Well, Gab is kind of a disaster, but if too many people get eliminated from Twitter, you're going to see a Twitter alternative. So they can't be too aggressive with it. Maybe they get rid of the super bad actors like, I don't know, ISIS, Islamic extremists, like neo-Nazi types. I don't think anyone really cares about that. If they're too aggressive with it, which maybe you can make the case they have been, it creates the seeds of a competitor, all tech. So I'm not too worried about it. I think it'll work itself out, just like every industry in the private sector works itself out. We used to be really concerned about Standard Oil dominating the oil markets. And even though the government broke them up, it was really competition that broke the monopoly. So I think it'll work itself out without having to have government intervention. There's kind of a place for everybody. You have your mainstream people on Twitter, people that want to be super edgy, can go to a alternative platform. And, Twitter doesn't have to platform people they don't like Holocaust deniers, Keith Woods, apparently, whatever. It'll work itself out. It's just kind of an interesting development. And then people that move to a different platform, they don't have the following they have on Twitter, but they have more leeway to say, whatever it is they want to say. So I think it's kind of the natural development. They'll get chased off Twitter. Maybe the ADL will try to chase them off wherever they go next, but a new competitor will emerge. And I think that's the way it's going to be. I don't see Congress stepping in and being like, you have a civil right to a Twitter and YouTube page, and you can say whatever you want, and we're going to instate this. I don't see that happening, and I don't think that's technically constitutional. Because although you have freedom of speech, you personally have freedom of speech to say whatever it is you want. The government can't prevent you. Of course, there are consequences. Potentially, you have your criminal consequences for certain speech. You could be held liable for your speech. You can be deplatformed or not welcome places for your speech. That's totally constitutional, those limitations. The government just can't lock you up for it. What was I going to say next? Yeah, so I don't see how the law would enable, like a constitutional right to a Twitter, YouTube. I don't think it's in the cards. But from these guys' perspective, like they got to figure out a way well, it used to be keywords, right? Like if you said JEW or if you said Hitler, those keywords could potentially get you banned. But now it can't even be AI that's doing it. It's people know these guys' reputation. They know Keith Woods, like what he's up to, and they don't want to platform him. And as the law stands right now, perfectly legit and legal to do that. You could say it's uncouth, whatever. I don't know. It is what it is. But these guys have alternatives. But I think if you want to be in the mainstream discussion, you got to figure out a way to survive these purges, survive the getting kicked off the major platforms if you want to be in the picture. Otherwise, you're going to be in an echo chamber with all the freaks. And maybe that's where you want to be if you're trying to arrange some type of government takeover or like revolution, but not if you want to affect society at large. Like just the viewership counts are so much lower and you're with all the freaks, so it's not a good place to be. Anyway, I just wanted to make a new video since I hadn't in a number of weeks, thanks to that fucking asshole Norvin. And what else? Politically Provoked show, like that's still interesting with the debates, discussions, pop-ons. Other than that, I don't know. The world hasn't changed too much. Still fucking crazy. But just wanted to make this video for now. But anyway, yeah, Keith Woods, it's like another video where he blames a phenomenon on, shady fucking Jewish guy, of course. involved in a conspiracy to silence him and his cohorts because like that's what they're obsessed with. It has nothing to do with Keith Woods making himself a little bit radioactive, unlikable, where people don't want him on their platforms. I don't even know how Twitter does it. Like I mean, it's a fucking smart, capable company, so they must know who these people are, have them on a list. They must debate like if they want them on their platform, and they just make an executive decision to call all these idiots. You know what I mean? Anyway, whatever. They don't seem to care that much. They got the alt tech hooked up, so they're fine. Twitter doesn't care. They get them off the platform. So like, I don't know. It's not a huge deal to me. Par for the course these days. Anyway, everyone have a good day.